I do remember having a lot of anxiety, like after bringing it up, kind of backpedaling and being like, oh shit, because Sheena was like, that would never happen. And even James was like, that would never happen. Like everyone was so sure. And so then I felt bad. I was like, oh, sorry, then like, I don't want to make this a thing. But it was weird. And they would hang out all the time. And Ariana at the same time would always be like, Tom's never home. I wish we would spend more time together. And then, he's out on a Tuesday night at 1 a.m. So I'm like, he's choosing not to be home. Like, he could easily be at home. He should be at home. So that was weird.
I want to gab. Okay, today we're gabbing with Ally Lewber, star of Vanderpump Rules, maker of the bop, Girls Girl. Ally has been such a breath of fresh since joining the show last season, and I'm so excited to get some time with her to chat. Ally, thanks for doing this.
Thank
Phoning in from the big
you.
city. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yes, I'm so excited to be in New York City. She's behind me. So nice to meet you. And thank you for
You
having
too. Of
me.
course. So, okay, I mentioned Girls Girl, and I promise I'm not just blowing smoke. I've been very open about the fact that I love this song. It's been on
Yay!
repeat. It's in there with Tortured Poets and Cowboy Carter. And like, I'm just, it's in my rotation. It's in my rotation right now. I'm
Literally
not lying.
stop. That is
Danny,
the best
Pel-
compliment.
Danny Pellegrino and I have both been very public about the fact that we love this song. So, and I just checked, the music video has over 200,000 views. Like, you must feel pretty good about.
Oh my gosh, wait, that's so good. Thank you. I do feel it feels like a dream. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know. But, I'm really grateful. And yeah, the music video, I'm not even being dramatic. Like filming that was one of the best days of my life because it was just so much fun. Like everyone should make a music video with their best friends in the desert. Like it was just so fun. And so I'm glad that everyone's like feeling the energy and enjoying it. It makes me so happy. So
no,
thank
it has the best vibes. And did I read that
you.
you filmed that the day after the reunion filmed?
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God. What a
So
jump scare.
yeah, I know. It was a very hectic weekend, and Sheena was really she also so like the day before the reunion, she just moved into her new house. So she had like just moved into the house, filmed the reunion, and still came all the way to the desert to like film the music video with me. So
Wow.
the
Girls,
girl.
girl.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
before we get into it, I know that you are a Swiftie. What's your favorite song of a Tortured Poets right now?
It has to be I could do it with a broken heart.
Same. Same.
Yeah, same, right? It's just so I wanted that. I feel like fans wanted that because I remember like seeing the Eras tour and she went through the breakup and then was going on tour. And I feel like as fans of her, we're also like, but is she okay? Like, does she need a minute? Like, and so that song was just so real. Like,
Totally.
wow. Yeah.
And it's the sound that I kind of want from her, so I kind of want more of
Yes.
that. You know what I mean?
I agree. The key, like the techno, like key change
It's
too.
cool.
I was like, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into Vanderpump Rules. So
Okay.
in this week's episode, we see you and James have a pretty open, frank conversation about the hippie of it all, and it that followed a conversation that you had several weeks ago about, or maybe that was even last week, about whether or
Yeah.
not you wanted to have kids in the future, and you talk about being kind of up and down about that. He's very set on having kids and having a family. When you think about conversations like that, like the kind of bigger, deeper, frank conversations, do you feel like the cameras like help you have those conversations and help you be more honest or open about that? Or how do
Yeah.
you kind of view having those moments on TV?
Ooh, that's such a good question. You're right. It is interesting having like a camera put on you, and I can't really explain why. But you do want to be honest, and and it's hard being vulnerable. I think that's the thing too, is like look at someone like James who's like so comfortable with his emotions and sharing them. I'm not. But I do think that the cameras being there has helped me really. It's kind of like therapy,
Yeah,
like you have to really like search deep within and be like, what do I want? And I mean, James and I have had those questions before, but never not that seriously. Because usually
right.
I'll, like sure one day or, but then yeah, when the cameras are on, it's real. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it kind of helps get the conversation going. Yeah,
it's a good thing, I feel like,
I
ultimately.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so where do things stand with Hippie now? So the conversation on the show is like, you guys are kind of sleeping in separate bedrooms sometimes because of the two pets and them not getting along. We're hesitant to travel with Hippie not being able to be looked after James's brother. Where do things stand now in that
Yeah.
situation?
Um, so good, which I'm so happy to say. Like, truly, Hippie is the love of my life. Like, I love that dog so much. I am his mother. I'm obsessed with him in every way possible. I'm like having withdrawals being in New York City.
Aw.
I miss him so much. But that time, like, so during filming, that was very hard for me because I hadn't really bonded with him completely yet. And the cats are my children. And
Mhm.
so it really did feel like I was almost having to choose. And I just wasn't thrilled with the situation, you know, but yeah, that was hard. I was really upset. A lot of filming around that time because I felt so bad for my cats. And but now Banks and Hippie are friends. And actually, like just before I flew to New York City, I was taking a nap and I had Hippie and Banks right next to me. So we are all cuddling together. So
What more could you want? Truly, that
literally, it's
that that makes me really
I'm so
happy.
happy. Me
That
too.
that's great. Have
Yeah.
you? I mean, Ariana is also a big pet lover, dog lover. Have you guys bonded over that fact?
Yeah. Definitely. I think totally. It's funny because I bonded with Sheena a lot because like she has two cats that also look identical to mine, Banks and Bodhi. She has the black
Uh-huh.
cat and the tabby cat. So we bonded a lot over being like cat moms and how, before Hippie, I was saying I wasn't really ready for a dog because they're like a child and it's a lot of responsibility and James and I travel a lot. But now that I am a dog mom, I do bond with Ariana over like both shared responsibilities, but I mean, I love him so much. And Lisa Vanderpump actually said when like this whole thing happened, she was like, you're going to make it work. Like you have to, like that's life and this is the situation. And it was like good advice in a way where it was like, yeah, like, okay. And now I'm just so happy that we did. And we got
Yeah.
Hippie a trainer and we did take it really, really slow with Hippie and the cats. And I think that it all worked out how it needed to be. So,
Good.
and now
That makes me so happy to hear. Yeah.
me too. I know.
It's a process. It can be a process, but you guys have
It
gotten to the other side of
was.
it. Yeah,
Because
totally.
James was being so like they'll never be together because he didn't trust Hippie with the cats. And I was like, we can't live. Like that's just
No,
not fair
that's
to
not
the
sustainable either.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
was really upset at the time, but really happy now. So at least I
Good.
have good news there. Yeah.
Good. Okay. And then side note, I love your house together. I love that you're kind of creating this family with the pets and all this stuff. But I feel like the show doesn't let us film a scene at your house without showing the airplanes, without
I
putting the
know.
airplane.
No, it's so funny. It's it it's funny because we're filming, and so it's also like I feel like it's more funny for production
Right.
because when they fly over, like we can't talk because the mics. And so I feel like from their standpoint, it has to be way more annoying to them than like it is to us. But yeah, we live in the flight path, but also my boyfriend's a DJ that travels all the time. So it's actually so handy
On
that we
brand.
5 minutes from the Burbank airport, and we're
I
used to
love
it.
that. I love
Like
that. Yeah,
it
I
like
know.
feels alive. Like I don't know, I like noise. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so we've seen Ally this season. It's been sort of like the season of the girls kind of being united as a group, and we keep seeing you guys call one another the Spice Girls. Yeah, I love that. But I
Yeah.
saw a recent video of Ariana, I think a book event in LA, where she basically talked about how like in the season the perception was that we were the Spice Girls and like you guys were all kind of on this united front, but watching it back she has a different perception of how this season actually went. And I think she's probably alluding to Lala and Sheena and some of that stuff that's been talked about. Is that difference in perception true for you as well?
Yeah. Yeah. It is also a little bit. I do feel like we were filming, like it felt very, positive on the girls' front. Like, yeah, we'd always joke about the Spice Girls and stuff. And it was always good vibes and energy, like when we were all together. So watching it back, I'd have to say I agree a little bit that I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't all like fun and games or, positive. But yeah, I mean, I did know that there were some heavy feelings going on, but I definitely, yeah, I would agree with Ariana that
Yeah,
watching it back, it's a little different. Yeah. Than
totally.
what,
And I mean, going off that, Lala and Sheena obviously are a little bit more open to letting Sandoval back in some respects, and I think they've said that it's sort of for the sake of the show and for the group to kind of move forward. Ariana's obviously sort of protecting herself from that, and I think rightfully so. But how do you read those different approaches to resolution or to moving forward as somebody who can kind of be on both sides of it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a hard question. I don't know, because I want her to have her boundaries, and I don't, I totally agree with her she was being authentic all season. She didn't want to film with him. She didn't want to see him. And even though they lived together, which I know that's like the argument, like they really didn't see each other. So yeah, I want her to have her boundaries up. I think she deserves them. I think everything heals with time. So I do think that over time, I'm sure I don't know. But from James's point of view, even like he's different because he's healed a little more and he's able to kind of have conversations with Sandoval, but I still don't think he's ready to be like besties with him again. But I think it all just takes time, and we have to
Yeah.
respect that everyone's at a different speed.
I completely agree. I thought the scene with James and Sandoval, his band practice, was kind of cracking me up because they just like
I
they
know.
take shots at one another and they can't help
I know.
themselves.
I know. I know. It's literally ping pong. They're just like, yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I loved though how Hippie at the end when they're like walking out and Hippie like gave the last look. Did you notice that? He was
Yes.
like, I am out with my dad. He's gonna go press play on his
Bye,
laptop.
Felicia. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Really cool.
You were all at Coachella together recently, and I know that the reunion, everything that we kind of have heard about it and it's been sort of teased, is that it ended on kind of a divisive note. The group was more divided than it was at the beginning of the season. What was it like at Coachella, given that you guys had filmed the reunion recently?
It was good. I only saw Sheena and Ariana, and mostly separate. We hung out with Ariana and Dan the last day on Sunday, but they were all at James's show, Sheena
Yeah,
and and so I saw them, and it was really sweet of them to come. They were supporting James. It was obviously very loud, and there were a lot of people, so I didn't really have like any private conversations. So yeah, that's all I can really say about Coachella, but like we all had fun in our own way. Yeah.
there's enough distraction to kind of
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we did, we were all together
Yeah.
and, like and that's what I always joke with them is like, you guys are a family. So it's like they come together and it always ends up being okay.
It's
It's,
brothers and sisters. It's brothers and
yeah,
sisters who just, yeah, we go through ups and
exactly.
downs. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and Ally, I feel like you handled last year on the show very well, all things considered. You're on the same cast as your boyfriend's ex, and obviously we don't have to replay it all, but that things blew up in a way that nobody could have suspected. But how
Yeah.
has Rachel not being on the show this season opened up the group for you in a way that it wasn't in season 10?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely I'm more, well, I mean, because like season 10, Ariana and Raquel were best friends. They were hanging out all the time. They were always together. And Ariana was always nice to me and welcoming to me too. And we had our own little friendship, but it's obviously like it was them. And so, I was fine with just hanging out with James and like being more with him. But this year, now that she's obviously not around, like I have gotten to, get to know the girls more. And they were always welcoming though. I don't want it to seem like they weren't. They were, but it was just, okay, well, like they're hanging out. So like I'll go over here. And it was fine. But
Is there a particular friendship that you feel like was really unlocked this year for you, that you feel like you couldn't really go down that path
yeah,
last year?
Ariana and Katie,
Hmm.
where I feel like, again, just Ariana because she was always with Raquel. And that was her friend. Sheena, actually, even last year in season 10, even though Sheena and Raquel were super close, Sheena was still always very nice and welcoming to me. And we had our own friendship separately. But yeah, I do think Ariana and Katie and I have kind of we've bonded more for
That's
sure.
great. That's great to
Yeah.
hear. And yeah, and I think it just speaks to like the way that we can have a lot of the same people, but the dynamic can really shift so quickly.
1,000%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And the other slight difference, Allie, this year is that some of the cast of the Valley is around this
Yeah.
season, and especially towards this sort of back half of the season as
Yeah.
they sort of started to get filming. And that includes another one of James's exes in Kristen.
Oh, yes.
It also includes Jack and Brittany. What was it like for you to have them in the mix a little bit this year?
I mean, I really only saw Jax and Brittany a few times. I'm
Okay.
friends with Janet. So like that, just through Sheena,
Love
we've hung
Janet.
out. Love Janet. She's an Ohio girly as well. So we get along. But yeah, I think Jax and Brittany just kind of adding them into the group too. Brittany's amazing, love her, super sweet, and Jax is Jax, which is everything that I've been told about him. So he's Jax. I don't know. He's a
He
lot.
he was what you expected him to be.
Yes, yes, but he was very nice to me. He's been very
Okay.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so you never really interacted with Kristen in filming.
No, 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 not for filming.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it. And then last season, I was calling you the sort of Scandaval whistleblower because I feel like you speaking up about that interaction that you saw at the Abbey between them. I thought that was a really big sort of establishing moment for you and your voice on this show, and like just not being afraid to come in. And I mean, that must have been kind of scary to bring up and like tell Sheena
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, it was
Would
really
you agree with that?
scary.
That it was a big moment for you to establish your voice?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Because I do remember having a lot of anxiety, like after bringing it up, kind of backpedaling and being like, oh shit. Because Sheena was like, that would never happen. And even James was like, that would never happen. Like everyone was so sure. And so then I felt bad. I was like, oh, sorry. Then like, I don't want to make this a thing. But it was weird. And they would hang out all the time. And Ariana at the same time would always be like, Tom's never home. I wish we would spend more time together. And then, he's out on a Tuesday night at 1 a.m. So I'm like, he's choosing not to be home. Like, he could easily be at home. He should be at home. So that was weird.
You were a third party coming in and noticing something that other people like couldn't
Yeah.
notice,
You
basically.
would have noticed it too. Like, that's the thing. Everyone would have noticed it outside of that group, which is just, it's interesting how,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, weird.
But and overall, what was it like? I mean, I have to know, what was it like to have that be your first big experience on, I mean, just like in general, that is like, because it was a season for the ages of any
It
show on
really is.
Bravo, and this was your first season on the show.
Yeah, it was a lot. It all just kind of, I don't know, in a weird way, like it just kind of happened so quickly and everything escalated. So you don't really have a choice except to like roll with it. It's almost like, when you're healthier, when you're busier, because you just got a lot
Yeah.
on your plate, you don't have another option. You just got to go, go, go. It was like that. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of like holding on and like, okay, James, how do we feel? How are we feeling? Like, it was crazy. Yeah, it was.
And I guess it's one of those things where it's like, if you can deal with that, you can deal with pretty much anything, I guess.
I feel like that too. No, I know. I'm like, I already was through the hard part happened, hopefully. Like,
Hopefully. Right.
like,
Exactly.
yeah.
The other thing I wanted to pick your brain about a little bit from this season, Allie, is when it comes to Joe, who sort of we kind of got bits and pieces from her at the beginning of the season, but the middle of this season, she was around a lot. And I guess my first question for you is like, there's that scene where you're all at the hotel and Joe's sort of hiding out at that on that bed. And I think after what she said about that scene after is that they were all being really mean girls to her and like kind of talking about her giving the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things where it's like, what do you think she expected out of the experience of coming in, given that she knew about what was going on? How do you
Yeah.
read kind of that dynamic?
Oh, that was so difficult because I wanted to give her like the benefit of the doubt at the time. And wanted uh I wanted her to just know that she could come to things and have like safety, like have someone that wasn't gonna attack her, or like have someone there that would be like, hi, like say hi to you and like
Yeah,
talk to you, just so she wouldn't feel so like the black sheep, But I didn't really understand the history that Joe had with Katie and everyone. I mean, I did to an extent. Katie did explain it to me, but yeah, I don't know. Watching it back, I kind of understand it a little more. Like I didn't know about Big Bear and I didn't know about like a lot of the I don't think I don't know. Yeah, I kind of believed her when she would say like, no, I didn't know about it. But watching it back and stuff, it is hard to know for sure. So, it is what it is, but I understand why the girls had their boundaries up for sure.
So
Yeah.
do you think she's being honest about the fact that she thought that Sandoval and Ariana were broken up when she went on that trip with all of them?
Uh, I mean, I hate to say that she was like lying, but I don't know how she would think that. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Unless Sandoval was really telling her, but then they would like go to the shows together and Ariana would always be at the shows and stuff and like supporting him. So I don't know in what world you'd be living in if you thought that they were broken up. But
Right.
yeah.
And then last question about her. Do you think that Schwartz was sort of leading her on? Do you, because that one scene where she sort of leaves and she's like, I want to call my dad. I felt a little bit for her in that moment because I
I
did
know.
feel like Schwartz,
I
I
know.
could see what
Like
energy she was getting from him.
1000%. Yeah, he let her on fully. Like Schwartz, come on. And I feel bad for her for sure. And I think during filming is intense. And I think that she really thought that she had a friend in Schwartz and was really like really confided in him. And I mean, we all gave her a chance to be honest. We were like, are you guys sleeping together? Are you guys a thing? And she'd be like, no, no, no,
Mm,
we're not. I'm like, I wish that she just told us the truth because then we would have been like, Schwartz, what the heck? Like he would have been called out a little bit more. But yeah, he let her on and she was in love. It's like, you don't always see
yeah.
super clearly when you're in love. And so I feel for her. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So the rest of the season, Allie, I know you guys go to San Francisco soon on the show. What's to come from that trip? Because it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah. It all honestly, like, so tonight's episode, it really all escalates after tonight and on tonight's episode too. It just like the dynamics,
Yeah.
it's really sad. It's emotional and it's confusing and no one knows who to trust. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's messy. San
And
Francisco
then
was a trip.
And then the reunion, we've talked around it a little bit, but like, okay, I guess from you going into the reunion, was there something that you wanted an answer on or that you felt that you wanted to bring up or talk about?
I was just really excited to share like the positive updates of Hippie and the cats
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just like, where James and I were at. And it was all good things. I didn't have any really like, I don't know. Trying to remember. No, I don't think I had any questions. Yeah, I think I
What
was
about
just
coming out of it? Do you have more questions coming out?
I had a lot of
Coming out?
questions coming out of it. I'm not gonna lie. Lots of questions coming out of it. Still questions. Yeah, I feel like I don't know, it was like therapy. It was deep. And I think everyone probably feels similar. Like it was just very emotional and divisive yeah. Even with Joe, I have more questions from her too. I'm like, wait, oh, I don't know.
Okay.
We get like a different side to the story
We're still
almost.
not being clear. We're still not being totally
Yeah.
clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a good interview, a good reunion. Like there was but it was heavy and it was just really emotional. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then lastly, Allie, I mean, I just think again, we talked about it at the top with Girls Girl, with your readings and that whole business. It's like I feel like you're utilizing this platform so well already. It's been not even two seasons for you. What's your mindset in terms of that, in terms of sort of capitalizing on this amazing platform that you're on and
Yeah.
just rolling with it?
Thank you. I don't know why I say thank you. I think I've seen some comments where people are like, oh, she's an opportunist. And I'm like, thank you so
Oh,
much.
please.
You either would rather me be boring or like and not do anything and not have hobbies, or I have hobbies and I'm still the bad guy. But it doesn't matter. But I'm grateful because I've never felt more passionate and happy with the work that I'm doing, which is astrology. And so I'm incredibly grateful that I see clients every single day and I get to meet with amazing people from all over the world and talk about astrology and share the message of astrology. So I'm really happy that, obviously this show has given me the platform to be able to like meet with people. So I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Do fans ever try to get readings from you and then try to like get the tea in those sessions?
Surprisingly, no. I thought it would be like, I
Good.
didn't know what to expect either. And I'm not even kidding. Every client I've met with has been so awesome. I'm like, the Bravo fans are really freaking cool. Like, I've met some really, really awesome people from all over the world, and
Good.
they're all super respectful. We really don't even talk about Vanderpump. There's probably been a few times where people will be like, love you on the show, and maybe they'll ask a question or two. But for the most part, it's like, we're talking about astrology and space. So
That's good to
yeah, that's
hear.
great.
And
Yeah.
then lastly, Ally, Girls Girl, is it part of like a bigger project? Is there more music in the pipeline? Talk to me about sort of the plans in on that front.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I did Girls Girl just because I had the song, I wrote the song, and James and I have been wanting to do music together. Like since we got together, we're like, we have to do a song together. And so there's still a lot of ideas and
Yeah.
things that we want to do together because we just love making music. And so it's like he's always on his laptop making beats, and I like to write songs like on my guitar. And so we'll like come together. So yeah, I do think there will be more music in the future. But it comes from, it's like it's a hobby. It's really fun for me. And so if it feels organic and natural, then like I do want to make more songs though, because I had so
I,
much fun doing it.
I think you need to hop on a song with Sheena too. I really think that.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. We have
All right, I
to.
love it. Well, Ally, thanks for taking the time. Enjoy your time in New York. It was great to chat with you, and I can't wait to see the rest
Thank
of the
you so
season.
much. Thank you so much. It was so
Yeah.
fun.
I want to gab.